Speaker. Secretary Shinseki graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point. Now, as a Naval Academy graduate, in a few weeks, Secretary Shinseki and I will watch the big game in Philadelphia. And whoever wins that contest, the young men, like Secretary Shinseki, shortly after the game is over, will put on the uniform, and many will go off and serve in Afghanistan and Iraq. Secretary Shinseki served 2 combat tours in Vietnam, where he was twice wounded. And as a disabled veteran, he remained on active duty. During his military career, he served as Commanding General, United States Army Europe, and 7th Army, Commanding General NATO Land Forces, Central Europe, and Commander of the NATO-led Stabilization Force in Bosnia. In 1999, General Shinseki was appointed Chief of Staff of the Army and retired in 2003 after 38 years of service in uniform. On December 7, 2008, he was nominated by President Barack Obama to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs and was confirmed by the United States Senate on January 20th, 2009. And it was sworn in as the 7th Secretary of Veterans Affairs on January 21st, 2009. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary of Veterans Affairs and DAV Life Member Eric K. Shinseki.
Well, Tony, thank you very much for that very kind introduction, and also for your past leadership as Secretary of VA, great leadership. Let me also wish all the Marines present a happy birthday, and then promise all of you that cheer for Navy a good accounting in a couple of weeks when Army and Navy show up in Philly. Let me further acknowledge Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. Madam Speaker, thank you for honoring us with your presence here today. Thanks for your leadership. Along with President Obama, you and the leadership of the Congress have done tremendous work for veterans this year. We're indebted to you. Senator Bob Dole, I believe, was trying to be here, a distinguished soldier and statesman, and always great to have an opportunity to share time with him, as I did last week as he was looking forward to being released from Walter Reed, where he had undergone some surgery. Ambassador Gary Doer from Canada, and other distinguished guests from Canada, thank you for being here this morning, and thank you also for the generosity of the reception and luncheon following these ceremonies. Members of the VA team who are here today, thank you all for what you do. I'll add my thanks to Chairwoman Lois Pope, to President Art Wilson, to National Spokesman Gary Sinise, and all the other wonderful members of the American Veteran Disabled for Life Memorial Foundation for all of your work, your devotion, your efforts to put together this wonderful project. Scott Brown is here. Scott's dad has been mentioned several times already, former Secretary of Veterans Affairs Jesse Brown, who signed the original agreement with Lois and with Art Wilson. Bobby Barrera, I always learn something whenever you get up and speak in public. Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for your wonderful example of what disabled veterans mean to this country, and what, with will and determination, what we accomplish. Thanks to also to the other veteran service organizations who are represented here today. You all have contributed to making this memorial a reality, along with the DAV. Most importantly, please join me in recognizing the disabled veterans who are here in the audience. There are several hundred of us. Thank you all. I think you know it, but it bears repeating. This ceremony and this memorial are all about you, acknowledging your service, honoring your sacrifice. Other distinguished guests I may have missed, fellow veterans, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to join you this morning to break ground on a project that's sure to enhance Washington's landscape, as well as the symbolism reflected in its landmarks and monuments. Our deepest thanks again go to Lois Pope, who as chair of the Disabled for Life Memorial Foundation has created legions of supporters all across the country for this noble and worthy idea. With passion and energy, she has been the engine behind the enormous effort to honor men and women of every generation who have given so much, for some everything short of life itself, for our democracy. Ms. Pope, again, thank you. George Marshall, our great soldier statesman, once described the value of America's defenders. It's impossible, he said, for the nation to compensate for the services of a fighting man, or today, a fighting woman. There is no pay scale that is high enough to bring the services of a single one of them, to buy the services of a single one of them during even a few minutes of the agony of combat, the physical miseries of the campaign, or the extreme personal inconvenience of leaving home to go to the most dangerous spots on earth to serve our nation. America's always been blessed with sons and daughters imbued with that unwavering sense of purpose to something greater than self, that steadfast sense of duty to a nation that we all love. Our power as a nation derives from that persevering, buoyant, free-bred national spirit that has led so many to give what President Abraham Lincoln called that last full measure of devotion to safeguard our principles, namely life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As it was at Lexington and Concord, it is still today. From Bunker Hill to Baghdad, from Basra to Kabul, Kandahar, and points beyond. The price of liberty has been paid through the vigilance and valor of young Americans who put principle and ideal before self-interest, comfort, or safety. All too often, their noble service ended in life-altering injury. Stark reminders, physical, emotional, and spiritual, as Gary alluded to. Stark reminders of freedom's cost. By any measure, there are few who have given more to our country than the 3 million disabled veterans living amongst us. The creation of this memorial is fitting tribute to patriots who answered the call of duty and who have, in the face of devastating injury, showed us a quality of courage at which we can only marvel. Here in the shadow of our nation's capital, the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial will stand as an enduring tribute to the towering courage, selfless sacrifice, and steadfast loyalty of all of our disabled veterans. In the future, its imposing granite walls and cypress trees symbolize the strength of their warrior heritage. The reflecting pool and star-shaped fountain will mirror and reaffirm their heroism, and its internal flame will ensure that the passage of time will not dim the memory of such selfless service. I extend to America's disabled veterans deep personal regards and profound respect for your sacrifice. On behalf of the Department of Veterans Affairs, I offer you our respect and admiration for your service and for your courage in living life every day. And on behalf of President Barack Obama, I extend to you the heartfelt thanks, great respect and dignity for you from your Commander-in-Chief. May God bless those who serve and have served in our nation's armed forces, and may God continue to bless this wonderful country of ours. Thank you very much.